television show called Chiller Theater, which was on Channel 11 from the 60s through the 80s, where they ran all the old horror movies that were syndicated at the time. You know, it started with the black and white stuff, and then went into the the Hammer films in color and all of that. And when it went off the air, a lot of fans got together and put on this convention, and this fellow Kevin Clement was the guy who put it together, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. Now it's twice a year, in April and October, and it's held at the Sheraton in Parsippany, New Jersey. Thousands of people show up. I mean, we had lines out the door the last time. People going to come in and meet the celebrities, and there's all kinds of things. There's free films that are shown. There's a free rock concert on Saturday night, which I happen to run, and my band is one of the house bands, along with the Dead Elvi, and a band from New Jersey called The Test. And Dead Elvi is Kevin's band, and we back a bunch of celebrities, and everybody has a great time, and it's just really there's really no way to describe it. You have to go. It's a huge happening, and this being the October show, is a Halloween show. A lot of people show up in costume. There is a costume party. They judge and give out prizes and stuff. And mostly my concern on Saturday is I bring a lot of the 60s and 70s rock stars with me, and and I run the actual concert. The concert is actually run by me.
Now, what does that mean? Because
for 7 years.
Now, just to interrupt here for a second, running it and performing sounds like a real pain in the ass. Can you enjoy performing? Go ahead. How do you balance it? If it works right, I'm always upbeat. If it works right, how does it go that the show goes well and you also have fun playing?
We tweaked it as we went along. When I first came aboard, they really, the concert part of it was a small thing. It just started to grow and grow and grow. By the time I came along about 7 years ago, I stepped up and said, look, you have to let me run this, because, he had other things to do, and it's a huge undertaking. And we have a professional sound company now, and we have all the groups use the same backline. And for those that don't know what backline is, it means drums, amplifiers, keyboards. We don't have 5 bands bringing different drum sets, which was chaos. And my first priority is to put the show on. My band is all there, and they're very cooperative. And sometimes we have to do things and say, hey, so-and-so's here, we need somebody to back them up, or this isn't going to happen, we need to cut your set down, whatever happens to be. But, it's the level of cooperation and the people that I put in place that work with me now.
Now, your artist relationships pre-exist this, and then I guess there's new ones because of this. Who's the most interesting in the 7 years that, because of Chiller, you wouldn't have bumped into them personally? You've always known them, but you personally met them because of Chiller.
Well, one of the interesting ones was the guy named Bob Zametta, whose day job is he runs Comic Relief for Whoopi Goldberg and Billy Crystal and the late Robin Williams.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah, he's played by Paul Giamatti in the movie Jim Carrey makes about Andy Kaufman.
Oh, right. Well,
yeah.
Bob Zametta.
Wow.
Bob and Andy both shared a character called...
of course. I know you, Tony.
Tony Sherritt. Tony, the lounge singer, the Las Vegas lounge singer. That was obnoxious.
It's in the whole movie, Man on the Moon. The Man on the Moon shows all of this, right? And it's Tony somebody, it'll come to us, but he's a cheesy, insulting lounge singer.
We had to back him up, and he never comes out of character.
Wow.
So at one point, his flunkies come down and call me up to their office and say, Tony wants to talk to you, and I'm up there talking, about the arrangements, and he came in with charts, and my guys can't read the charts, so that's why we ended up backing him up. And he's doing Rhinestone Cowboy and I Will Survive.
Right, those are his songs. Yeah, I know his repertoire. I love this act.
And so we had to back him up, and when I'm talking to him in the room, I'm calling Bob. He says, Tony. I said, okay, whatever. He's in there in his stocking feet, and he's got the wig on and the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we get down there on the stage, and, I kind of I kind of knew what he did, but I kind of wasn't really expecting what happened.
He started.
He went into, and it's funny because I had my regular bass player wasn't there, so we had this guy Harley Fine playing bass, and Harley was really into this guy. And I said, "Listen, I'm going to let you be his comic foil on stage because I'm not the guy to do that with. You know, I'm not.
Right.
You know,
right.
I'm not going to. I'm not. You know, Harley was loving this guy, and I was kind of like." And so he gets in there. At one point,
You're a pain in the ass
drink.
for some people. I mean, for some artists,
yeah,
you're difficult.
I'm very businesslike when I'm trying to get things done.
That's
I really don't
That's
have
right.
time.
And you didn't see this ever before. You never witnessed how he behaves.
I saw a little bit of it, and I knew he did some obnoxious shtick, but I didn't know to the level that he took.
Right.
He chucked a beer. And it hit the soundboard, and the sound guy was like losing his mind. I would have too. And then he flipped the cigarette at somebody.
Right.
A couple of guys tried to get up on the stage.
Right.
Then he had a ringer in the audience, which was Jake Busey, Gary Busey's son.
Wow.
Who was in disguise.
Right.
Who started a fist fight with him, and then the cops came.
That's it. That's him.
And the fire marshal came to me and said, "Listen, we're taking your singer, your lead singer, to jail." I said, "Take him. He's my singer.
Right.
Take him.
Go."
You know.
Right.
So yeah, it was it was funny, but to the point where I was like, okay, you know.
Wow. What a lesson.
I see why I got this guy.
I was going to say though, but what a great lesson for you. That's a great learning experience, right? When you really have
you're never too old to learn.
And also you're never too big to get in trouble and get the fire marshal on you, Bob Zmuda or not.
And they didn't end up doing that anyway. But and the thing was, when I came to his room the time, he said, "Listen, we're going to start with the medley." I said, "No, we're not starting with the medley." I said, "We're going to start with I Hope Will Survive because all the kids will know that." Because they're not going to. The medley is like Frank Sinatra songs. Kids aren't going to know.
I know his whole act.
Then we're going to do Rhinestone Cowboy, and which he announced from the stage. This is before Glenn Campbell had gotten sick. He announced from the stage that Glenn Campbell had died.
Oh, shit.
So everybody in the audience was like freaking out.
Yeah,
and then he did the other medley, and I get it, but it was kind of like, okay, I don't have a lot of patience for this kind of humor. You know what I mean?
Right.
To me, it's
high
like
maintenance.
High
maintenance.
It was a lot of maintenance, I
high
thought,
maintenance.
and
high
a
maintenance
lot of
for
intangibles.
You. Yeah, high maintenance for you.
Yeah.
Some young producer who's in awe of the whole experience, let him run around and apologize to everybody. But, you got a show to run. How many acts, now I'm going to get real mechanical, how many acts do you put up in how many minutes? Because that's big to me. I put up many comedy shows.
We start around 8 or 8:30, and we go till 1 o'clock in the morning.
5 hours.
So it's a long show. We have 3 house bands, which is the Dead Elvi, and they'll back a lot of the celebrities. And then we have an opening band called the Test Band, which is literally we're testing the equipment when we put them up. And occasionally they'll back a couple of like the Alice Cooper guys, like Michael Bruce or Dennis Dunaway, the guys from the original band.
Who?
And we'll put a lot of the celebrities on with the Dead Elvi, and then we'll back a lot of the 60s and 70s guys.
Did you mention just now? Hold on, slow down there, pal. Did you mention Glenn Buxton? Who did you just?
Glenn Buxton's the dead one.
The dead one. He died. Who's the guy you just mentioned with Alice Cooper?
Michael Bruce and Dennis. Well, Dennis Dunaway is a regular at Chiller. He's the bass player. He's the original bass player. He's the co-writer of all the big hits. School's Out and what have you. 18.
Right.
And Michael Bruce also. We played with those guys as well, and but Dennis is a regular. Dennis.
Oh, Michael Bruce. Okay, I'm following. All right, I just wanted to slow you down.
Guitarist. He was the primary songwriter of the Alice Cooper group.
I'm just getting it for the audience and me. We're taking a few notes off of you. You were there. Let's see. What else I want to ask you about?
Well, we've got a huge show this.
Yeah, let's talk about this year. But who's interesting to you? Personal of interest. Not saying they're the best. Just saying your personal.
I mean, the Smithereens.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of the Smithereens. I mean, this is the second time that they'll be there.
Right.
And they'll do about 45 minutes.
And what will they do? What are their biggest hits?
They're gonna do all their hits,
right.
But they'll also do some weird stuff. Like they'll do stuff from Tommy by the Who, and they'll do I've seen them do the Batman theme.
Okay.
So
they're fun.
Pat
they're fun.
D'Annunzio is a big collector of this memorabilia that's also available at Chiller. You can go around and buy all this stuff. From the 60s and 70s, and he collects all that stuff. We have the Cowsills there. the family that the Partridge Family was based on.
Mm.
And
Now,
they're going to be doing four tunes.
I'm trying to remember. What do I know by the Cowsills? What was their biggest hit?
The Rain, the Park, and Other Things.
There you go. Okay.
I saw her sitting in the rain, raindrops falling around.
Yeah.
Hair.
Oh, wow.
Indian Lake.
Oh,
the theme from Love American Style.
Whoa. Okay, so they're rolling in it. Yeah, they made huge cash back then.
And then we have a quasi reunion of the Runaways. We have Lita Ford and Cherry Curry coming out to do Cherry Bomb.
Wow, Lita Ford, man. What is she? She was hot. She had the big hair. She was like one of the first girls with the big hair. Yeah.
She's still hot.
I'll bet. I bet she's built. I bet she's built, and I bet she's firm and built. I bet she's firm and built, right? Like she's a strong, tough girl.
She's actually kind of thin. She's kind of thin. She looks a little bit like Jennifer Aniston, that kind of physique.
Oh, wow, okay. And she toned the hair down. The hair is more contempo now.
She toned the hair down, it's
get a look.
different, contemporary stuff. But we've had her there a bunch of times. So
I had the hots for her many moons ago. I remember I really had the throbs for her many moons. She actually was one of the earliest MTVs, right?
Yeah, well, I guess when she when she left the Runaways, she had a couple of hits there in the 80s. Kiss Me Deadly, I guess, was the big one.
Yeah, she had something big because I saw her a lot.
She's done that at Chiller. She's done that song at Chiller.
Wow. So now, are you playing with everybody who's anybody? Are you in there, or you're only in there when they're missing people? How do you guys work?
We're going to do with this show because this show is really loaded. So we're probably going to go on last, like to mop up, and we may or may not be backing up a couple of people. I'm not really sure. I think for the most part, we're going to try to put everybody on early. I like to kind of just get them out of the way, and then I can go up usually in October, or like in April we'll go on early, but in October I'll put us on last so that we can, I basically can relax at that point, and because I don't have anybody behind me, and then we can play longer. Like if we play early in the night, you're going to do 4 songs and you're off. We play at the end of the night, we can play for an hour and a half.
Right. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's fair trade-off. Hey, what about you getting a video document of this? When you guys play, certainly with like all these other names around you and you're all mixing through the evening, has anybody ever done a HD level documentary with a huge I'm always interested in these people who bring out the huge camera, because then something's going to go instead of your grandmother's camera.
There are several people walking around recording this stuff, and I'll tell you what I tell my drummer, Silvio.
What's that?
Because he'll always say to me, well, we got to get somebody to film this.
Yes.
And I say to him, okay, you're in charge of that.
Ah, exactly.
I got a full plate.
No one offers and says, we're doing a documentary on Chiller. You're the band guy. Can we spend a? We've had
a bunch of people running around with cameras, and God only knows what they film and what they end up showing and where they end up showing it. I really don't have time to do it.
I got you.
It's like I'm kind of like, okay, and I'll be cooperative to a certain point as long as it doesn't interfere with what I'm trying to get done.
Right. I got you. I hear you. It's business.
I also get people that show up at Chiller routinely. Will call me. That Saturday and say, hey,
I'm coming over.
I'm here. Can you get me in for free? Or I'm going to stop everything. Because one person just walking across the floor is an ordeal. It's packed. The place is packed. So, I usually read people a riot act. Most people have got it by now. Don't call me over the weekend.
All right. Let's go over this now.
Be some knucklehead.
We've mentioned a lot of times now. We keep mentioning the name. The date is what? And let's go Parsippany, New Jersey at what hotel?
It is the Chiller Theater Convention, and either spelling of theater, either R-E or E-R, if you go to www.chillertheater.com, either spelling will bring you to the website. If you go to the website, that will give you the hotel. It's at the Sheraton in Parsippany. The hotel is sold out, so there are many surrounding hotels in the area. Go to hotels.com and look for, I've seen some very inexpensive rooms in the area. It's October 24th, 25th, and 26th. And the live concert is on the 25th. It's always on the Saturday night. And if you go to the website, it will give you the convention hours. It will not give you the concert hours, because that's kind of like a bonus for people that bought the tickets. There's no charge to go to the concert. So if you were there when the convention ends at 7 on Saturday night, if you stick around for an hour, there's a concert there, a 5-hour concert.
Perfect.
It's kind of like a well-known secret. One of those things. And if you go there, it will give you the address. You can go on Hotels.com and find a hotel in the area. You can buy tickets in advance online. They're cheaper if you buy them in advance. I don't know how much cheaper, but they are cheaper if you buy them in advance. There's over 120 celebrities at this show. Hulk Hogan is going to be there.
You mentioned him. Now, now another one, not to interrupt you, but I know him from a long time ago. I mean, I met Hulk Hogan. We were at the same, we were represented by the same television agent for about a 6-month period, overlapped. And this guy, I had no idea. I mean, I knew he was popular. And I, again, bumped into him in the early 90s when he was very popular. It was crazy. What is his appeal? What, he was just perfect at being a wrestler, or he was funny, or he had a narrative? What makes this guy singular like he is?
If you watch Hogan, if you watch one of his wrestling bouts, he's not the greatest wrestler you're ever going to see.
Okay.
But if you watch him, because my son loves him, my grown son loves him.
Likes him, right?
Hogan has him. He's a little boy.
Right.
And my son used to write to celebrities. The only celebrity that ever wrote back to him personally was Hulk Hogan.
Oh, okay.
And I know from talking to his agent about some of the things he does. I mean, he goes around to Children's Hospital, does it on the QT. We'll buy a bunch of toys, go in there. I will tell you this. A friend of mine called me whose her husband is an assistant director on a lot of big movies. And he has a brother who's severely handicapped. And the kid, he's a young man, but, he could barely stand. He's got autism. He's got all this kind of stuff, muscular dystrophy, he got the whole shebang.
Wow.
And he's severely handicapped, and he said to me, listen, if I could bring my brother, if there's some way to get him to meet Hogan, but he can't physically wait online, is there some way to do this? Now, this isn't really my department, but I made a call, and the reply I got was, no problem, bring him in, he won't have to wait online.
Right. Wow. Boom. That's the way he operates. Because
there are some celebrities, if you did that, they'd be a big, we'll have to get the manager involved. And the answer was immediate, and it was, bring him, we'll take care of him.
It's not the first time. Like, it's not the first time he's done it. Like,
I imagine it's not the first time he's had a handicap.
That's right. Yeah. He was like, let's go to it and give the guy a good time. That's killer. All right,
we have him coming in. We have him coming in that weekend. We have Fonzie coming in. Henry Winkler.
What? Hold on. Time out. Henry Winkler is coming to Chiller.
Not only is he coming, he's coming with Mrs. C and Shirley.
Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me. Now, here it is. 4 or 5 years ago, I'm on 81st and 2nd, walking into my apartment. It's pouring rain. And I jump out of, not a cab, but a lift. A guy drops in a comic, jumps me off. So I jump, and who puts out an umbrella, walks me to my doorway, who was already standing on the curb? Henry Winkler. Good Samaritan me. And I couldn't, and then I said, oh my God. He goes, yeah, it's me. And I ran in the house. It was hysterical. He loved he's got to be one of the warmest guys. Now, he's big, successful now. He's got big stuff going on. He's in a hit movie.
I have not met him, but I've heard good things.
Oh, you're going to love this. If you get to spend any minutes, he's warm and funny. He's animated. All right, so that's big. So you got Fonzie, Hulk Hogan. Go. Who's next?
You got the cast of Good Times. J.J. Walker, John Amos.
J.J. is going to be there. So J.J. is going to be there. Now, that's Jimmy Walker.
Jimmy Walker, John Amos, the brother and sister. The mother obviously passed away, and the next door neighbor.
Esther Roll passed away.
So you got them there. You got a group of about 8 people that were in the Terminator movies, not Arnold.
John, but you're going too fast now. You got to give me. You're going too fast. You got to let us enjoy. You got the whole cast of Good Times there. That means even the sister that used to yell at JJ, even she's. That was a great show. Come on. So you really have monsters. And, these are monsters.
The brother's name?
You got monsters of show business here. These are people who have huge followings. All the people who love these shows, you loved them as a kid. You're alive. You're no older, our age and younger, really. because we were there for the opening episode of Good Times. I remember when all that stuff rolled off of All in the Family. That was all the roll-off of that in-your-face, mixed race in your face kind of. Love that.
Well, you know who we had in the past from Maud was Adrienne Barbeau.
Oh, wow. And see, now I saw that.
Let me just tell you something.
Yeah.
First of all, she was very sweet.
Right.
And second of all, she looks gorgeous. She looks exactly the same to me.
Wow.
Some people you can tell don't look exactly the same.
Right.
She looks great. She looks great. I don't know how old she is, but she's got to be older than I am.
Well, it's crazy. Last night I saw this thing. It was about Norman Lear. And he was reflecting on the Maude episode where she had an abortion, and who was in the middle of it was Adrienne Barbeau. Was right in the middle of that episode, bouncing around. So last evening, you know who she looked like? She looked like the girls that we went to college with. You know that in that era when we were in college age, that she had that. She was perfect for that look. And she was making it on a hit TV show, but so you have like real icons. Go next. Now you got ahead of me. Roll it back to what came after Good Times. Talked about the Good Times cast.
There's a Terminator reunion.
That's it. Talk about that. Go ahead.
Linda Hamilton, who was famous for that bit where she's walking with the shotgun with one hand. You know.
Yeah. Right.
In the movie. So Linda Hamilton, and there's about 7 other people that were in all the Terminator movies. So that one female Terminator, I guess she was in Terminator 3.
Wow.
She's going to be there, and I'm not an expert on the Terminator movies, but, I recognize all the faces.
What do you think?
About 5 people.
All right. Unofficially, what do you think the budget is for talent here? These people can't be cheap, right? Henry Winkler.
I couldn't begin to. I'd have to sit down and with a because everybody has a different. The whole thing is everybody has a different deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of the deals, so we don't really talk about the deals because everybody's deal is different.
Now, are some people short visits? Is that how maybe they could get around? If somebody's very expensive and hot, and they really are hot. Could it be where the person's there for like an hour?
They get a guarantee. They get a guarantee that they're going to make a certain amount of money, and if they don't make that, then we'd have to cough it up. But that's not really going to happen here.
No, it's not going to happen.
These people are going to have like a Henry Winkler is going to have a tremendous line all weekend.
Oh, sure. Come on, they'll be dressed up like him. No, they'll be dressed up like him.
Hogan is going to have a tremendous line all weekend.
Those are perfect. What I like about everybody you've mentioned is that these are the people you connect with when you're young. And now there's a whole reliving. This is almost like baseball fantasy camp a little bit. There's Mickey Mantle taking swings. There's the Fonzie saying, hey. Now, will they get dressed up? I mean, Henry Winkler go in a costume, or he might be just standing there with his gray hair? Stand there in his gray hair. Okay, cool.
Because it's Halloween. Some of the celebrities do put costumes on.
I bet they do.
But I doubt that Henry Winkler will be dressed up as
He's big. Yeah, now, you said Mrs. C is still out there. So Mrs. C, Miss Cunningham.
Mrs. C.
Now, that's a great actress. That's a woman who had she had a lot to do with the success of that show. Come on. And same thing with the father. He's probably not around.
Marion Ross. She was the original MILF, wasn't she?
She was the original
MILF. We won't get into that, right?
That's right. No, everybody knows what that means. A hot mom, a hot banging mom, a mom you fantasize about, a mom you totally right. We all knew them when we were teenagers, but it wasn't officially designated in the culture, right? There was no common term.
No,
we might say
somebody's
mother's hot, maybe, but that's about all you're going to hear. Yeah. But now it's an official badge of honor. All right, so next.
Marion Ross is her name.
All right, so who else you got now? You can move on from the good.
And Cindy Williams from Laverne and Shirley. She's going to be there with Fonzie and Mrs. C.
Wow.
There's about 5 actors from The Sopranos.
So you know what? All my guys, I bet you all my favorite guys are going to be there. Frank Vincent, I'm sure, is going to be there.
Well,
Phil Leotardo.
He's been there before, but he's not. Joey Pants, you know who that is?
Oh, sure, Pantaleone. Yeah, Pantaleone.
Yeah, right. He's there.
Right.
The guy who owned the restaurant on the show.
Oh, sure. No, I know the bald-headed Buka.
Yeah, right. And he's on Blue Bloods now with Selleck.
Yeah, he's
good. But he played the guy who owned the restaurant. The woman that played his wife is there.
Oh, nice.
The woman that played James Gandolfini's Gumata. He had a girlfriend on the side there.
Which he had many of, but yeah, I got you. They're going to have one of his girls in.
I'm not, I saw The Sopranos, but I don't remember all the characters' names. So
I love this. No, I'm a big Sopranos fan. I'm a big fan of Sopranos.
There's 5 of them from The Sopranos.
Right.
There's so many. James Raymar, who's a famous character actor. He was the villain in 48 Hours, and he was in The Warriors.
Oh, sure.
A really crazy guy in The Warriors.
Yep. So, man, you got...
he was in Sex and the City, and guy's in everything. William Forsythe is another great character actor. He played Flat Top in Dick Tracy with Warren Beatty. He's in a ton of movies. He was in The Devil's Rejects. He was in the Halloween remake.
Now that's got to be but the Dick Tracy movie's got to be popular there, right? I mean, that was a real campy.
Well, he's a really nice guy down there. We've had him there a bunch of times. I was talking to him, and I always said my kid was crazy about Flat Top when he was a kid.
Right.
That was his favorite character in that movie. Joyce Randolph is going to be there from The Honeymooners to play Trixie.
How old is she?
Yep. She's got to be up there.
Oh. What?
She's not going to be out on the floor or signing autographs. She's only doing photo ops.
Photo ops, so you get to say hi.
So that usually tells you, like, we had Abe Vigoda. It was the same thing. Abe is pretty old.
Yeah.
We've had Freya Bruca. What's her name?
Freya Bruca?
Cloris Leachman.
Oh.
Cloris Leachman. Freya Bruca from Phyllis. She played Phyllis, and we had her. She was a riot, by the way. She was
on Mary Tyler Moore. She was Phyllis, right?
And it's funny, a lot of the old-timers are really funny. It was really funny is Martin Landau.
Martin Landau, he's a trip when he's on Howard. He's always funny. That guy's always got crazy stories.
A riot.
And he tells stories.
John Astin also.
Another crazy
really
bastard.
Funny.
Right. John Astin is one of the great romantics of all time. His wife broke up with him, he got back with her. He got married the same woman 3 times. Something like that. He's one of the great romantics, and he played...
We had his ex-wife there, too, Patty Duke.
There you go. Oh, my God, Patty Duke. She was very nice. They walk alike, they talk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind.
Greatest single line in a television theme song. A hot dog makes her lose control. That is the greatest.
A hot dog makes her lose control. Yeah, that's it. That's it, Patty Duke. When you were a kid, it was perfect because they were the 2 girls matched in one show, and you could keep changing who you had a crush on. First, you liked the nice one, then you liked the naughty one, and whichever one was doing well in the episode, I would attach to. I had no loyalty at all. I'd switch back and forth during the show. Oh, man, I love... So Patty Duke is going to be there?
No, well, she's been there. She's not at this show.
Oh, she's been there before. Okay, so John Astin.
I've met Tony Curtis.
Shut the front door.
When he was alive, and I met Ernest Borgnine. They were great. We had him there before he passed away.
We talked about this before. Borgnine was a listener in L.A., called the show, was very vocal, very opinion, he was very conversational. Not so much pushy opinion, very conversational guy. So what was Tony Curtis like? Tony Curtis was there for what? Just being Tony Curtis?
Tony Curtis was like, am I doing good numbers for you? You're getting we were going, hey, dude, you're like Tony Curtis. Don't worry about it.
Am I doing good numbers?
We got Tatum O'Neal.
Yep, there you go.
Tatum O'Neal's coming in.
Right.
Couple of guys from the Sons of Anarchy.
Now, what will she do, Tatum O'Neal? Will be with that movie with her father, but the famous movie she was in?
Tatum O'Neal was just on that. Tatum O'Neal was just on the TV series there with the one about the fireman. Rescue Me.
Oh, okay, good. All right, great. So she was
a regular on that.
He doesn't. Does Dennis Leary ever do this for Rescue Me? Does he ever pop in?
No. She did Paper Moon, and she did the Bad News Bears.
Paper Moon is the one. Right, that's what I was thinking. I think she was nominated. Did she win?
The Bad News Bears was a popular movie also.
Yeah, well, I didn't see it. But
she got the Oscar.
For Bad News or for the Over the Moon?
No, for Paper Moon.
Paper Moon, she got the Oscar. That's where we all know her. She was a kid when she got that. Who knew her father was we didn't even know her father was a creep yet. Remember, everybody just thought her father was from Peyton Place.
Yeah.
This is good. So go ahead.
Ace Frehley Ace Frehley's there from Kiss.
Wow. Now they're hot again. They got a hot TV show, Fourth and Loud. They bought a football team. So what is he going to do? Is he going to perform on stage or just sign?
He's not going to perform. He's just going to sign autographs.
Sign. Okay.
He never performs.
Now, what do they sell? Anything that you can imagine from Kiss, and then you could buy something there, and he would autograph it, right? I mean, you could do that.
Well, you pay for the autograph.
I'm sure. What does he go for?
We have nothing to do with that. They set their own prices. We give them the place to the marketplace.
What's an expensive? What's an expensive one? What's a high price for that thing? If you were going to get a high ticket item.
Well, Ace gets a lot. He gets like $75 for an autograph or something.
Wow. Okay. That's not bad.
I mean, there are people there. You can get autographs from people for $10 and stuff, but there are people there that charge. I've seen people charge $100 for autographs and stuff.
Listen,
but I mean, we got Tony Orlando there too.
Shut up! He's going to come and sing, or he'll sign and leave.
We don't know if he's going to sing yet, but just to give you this, there's so many names. That's why I keep saying it so fast. But Yamakoto, who he is, the actor. I
don't know Yamakoto.
He's gonna. He was an Alien. Christy McNichol is going to be there.
From the show, on TV.
From One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Wait, who's coming from Cuckoo's Nest?
Louise Fletcher.
Oh, sure. My God, Nurse Ratched is going to be there.
Yeah,
she'll clean up. Yeah, I mean, that's another one. There's going to be who?
Cheryl Teague.
Cheryl Teague. Wow. So this really is this. I should make my own videos of this. This is for me.
We got the Soup Nazi.
He's good. I like him. I like him a lot.
Butch Patrick is going to be there from the Munsters.
Now that's interesting. Hold on. Soup Nazi's probably going to become dressed as a Soup Nazi. That's a.
I don't know.
I can help him. I can help him. I got you. I got Eddie. So Eddie Munster is going to be there. Butch Patrick.
Yeah,
how old is he now? Is he our age or younger or older?
He's our age.
Exact. Okay, good.
He's actually like a year or two older than we are.
Oh, okay. All right, even better. Because I remember watching the Munsters. How old were we when the Munsters was on live?
So came on 64, so we were
8. Eesh. Wow.
And he was about 10 when he did the show.
50 years ago. Fred Gwynn died, right? He's no longer with us?
They're all gone.
They are. Wow. Yvonne DiCarlo.
Marilyn.
Yeah. Oh, Marilyn, right. Pat Priest. Right?
Yeah, she's been there. Yep.
Yep. All right. I knew that name right away from the credits.
Debbie Gibson's going to be there.
Nice. I've had Debbie Gibson on the show.
She looks good, too.
I've interviewed her.
Debbie Boone. Debbie Boone is going to be on the show, too.
Debbie Boone, you light up my life.
Yep.
Wow. Pat Boone's... Pat's alive, isn't he?
Yeah, he's alive.
We would know if anything happened to him, right? He's an American treasure icon. But she's out there.
I would think so.
Yeah, she's out there. Now, when they come to you, is this a signal that they're out working? Or is it this might be the only thing they do for the year because it's flattery and they can go home and rest? What do you read into this?
A lot of these people work. I mean, a lot of these people are working. A lot of the actors are working. And I guess some of them don't work as much, or they do a lot of conventions and stuff. But a lot of these people. Again, I get involved with the music guests. I don't really book the regular people. That's something that Mr. Chiller does.
Now, without mentioning any names, can you tell a story about who gave you a hard time and you had to really lay down the law?
Oh, God.
If you don't mention the name, you could tell us what happened.
Yeah, well, there's been a few. There was one actor, a very famous movie franchise, and his agent came in to Kevin and said, listen, blah, 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 blah. And Kevin just turns around and says, the kind of guy is there's the door, And now the guy's his best buddy, But this guy's in a very famous movie franchise, probably the most famous movie franchise of all time.
Wow.
That gives you a hint.
That does.
And he's also in another movie franchise, And he played an iconic figure. There's action figures of him, let's put it that way.
Oh, my God. I know who you're talking about now.
The whole thing is
he would be one of the biggest.
Have to bitch smack people.
Yeah, he would be one of the biggest draws ever at something like that.
He's not one of the biggest guys in the franchise, but to the people that are fans of that franchise, he's well known.
Right, got him.
And You know, you get everybody there. You get a real mixed bag. It started as a horror convention, and it just branched out. We have a lot of horror people. We have Pinhead there from Hellraiser. You know, we'll always have these guys. We always had Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger, and all of these guys have been there. We've got Boris Karloff's daughter and Vincent Price's daughter. They've written books, so they'll be there. Jeez. You know, there's a lot of illustrators. Ken Kelly, who did the famous album cover for Kiss, Destroyer, he'll be there. You know, a lot of these people get commissioned to do artwork, you know, when they're there. You know, but it's really... I can't imagine anybody going there and not finding something interesting to do, because you have a whole room full of vendors. You go out there and look for the Aurora model kit that you had when you were a kid, or any show that you ever wanted on DVD, or any movie that you ever wanted on DVD. They have it there.
Right.
You know, movie posters, original movie posters, you know, and you can get them inexpensive, or, you know, you can buy the really, really expensive ones. I collect certain iconic things of my childhood, and I will see certain things. If I can get a good buy on something, I'll pick it up. You know, I don't go crazy, but, you know, like you get a guy like Pat D'Annunzio from the Smithereens, he walks around buying all this stuff because, you know, he's into it. You know, he's big time into it. You know. It sounds
like a lot of fun. Now, the date is when? When does this occur? Not this weekend.
It starts on Friday. It's not this weekend. It's not the following weekend. It's the weekend after that. So it's the weekend before Halloween, because Halloween falls on the 31st, which is a Friday.
So it's 24th.
So it's the weekend before that.
The 24th.
It's the 24th,
yeah.
Friday the 24th, Saturday the 25th, and Sunday the 26th. I always advise people to get the advance tickets so you don't have to wait online to buy your tickets, because there is a big line, especially on Saturday, to buy tickets. So it's get advance tickets, or go on Friday and buy tickets for the whole weekend. You know, because Saturday there is a line to buy tickets, a long, long line.
Wow.
So,
what kind of capacity?
Yeah,
what is the capacity there? When every ticket is sold, how many do they pack in?
You know, I don't know the exact. You know, you literally have thousands and thousands of people there over the course of the weekend. Probably like 8,000 people.
Oh, wow.
So
that's awesome.
You know, the place is mobbed. I don't know what the exact capacity of the hotel is, but there is a fire marshal on hand, and they have closed the building. In fact, last April, we opened at 11. They're actually opening earlier now. They're going to 10. But they opened at 11 last show. The fire marshal had to shut the building temporarily at 11:45, 45 minutes later.
Oh.
So that's how many people were there.
Yeah.
I always advise people, if you're going on Saturday, go really, really early or really late.
Yeah.
Because the middle of the afternoon, 12, 1, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, the place is jammed. So Sundays are nice and peaceful. And Sundays are great if you're looking for a bargain. You're walking through, and you get there on Sunday, early Sunday, and you go around, and that's when you get the good buys. You know?
Cool. All right, well, listen.
We're going to move this stuff rather than carry it.
It sounds like it's got everything for you, personally. You have some fun. You do some industry, fun stuff. But bottom line is you get to play at the end, and you also mingling with some cool people. Right? Cool people are always fun to run into, so that's nice in show business.
Well, I mean,
mostly douchebags.
I love the crew there. I love the people that work there.
Right.
And I've got a lot of good friends. I've made a lot of good friends in this time that I've been there. And, I spend a lot of time talking to these people on the phone. Sometimes, late at night, we're on the phone with these guys for hours.
Sure.
We're all there. I mean, the money's one thing. But everybody's there because they love this stuff.
Right.
We love, old monster movies and and all that stuff. And when we do the concert, I'm the kind of the master of ceremonies. I do giveaways, so we give away CDs and model kits from the stage in between the acts. So I mean I think it's a good entertainment value. I think if you go there and you pay and don't quote me on the price, I think it's about $25 to get in. But I think it's definitely worth it. They've got a lot of free screenings. You've got the concert. I mean, who would pay for? I mean, would you pay for this concert if it was advertised?
Hell yeah!
To see the Runaways.
Hell
yeah! To see the Runaways and the Castle and the Smithereens on the same show.
It would be like a $60. Yeah, it would be like an $85, $90 ticket if you were at a major venue.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, no question. Hey, listen, I'm looking at Facebook right now. Which page am I giving out for you? Am I giving out Pat Horgan Thunder Road?
www.facebook.com/Pat Horgan Thunder Road. PATHORGAN Thunder Road.
Awesome. That's the one. Yeah, I got it open right here. All right, cool. Do you have more than one? Is all these other people not you?
Well, I have my own personal one,
all right,
but
good. So we'll keep it on
that's the one
keep it
like
on the
fans to communicate with us on that one.
Then how do you
and
now...
They can like the page and write to us.
Yeah, let me ask you a couple of quickies before I let you go, not related to Chiller. Last time we spoke off the air, you found yourself on some European website. Obviously, it's not paying any royalties back to you, but you said, it's a little bit flattering. Mm-hmm. How big a thing is that today where you're probably in tons of places you could never bump into, but you're there? When you said that, I got off the phone. I was like, something? I bet you this goes on all the time. You never bump into it.
Yeah.
Be all over the web. You could be all over these countries
when
in the middle of...
When the internet was new, a few times I'd search for myself or I'd search the band, and we'd find websites that had our music up for free downloads, or we actually had a German fan website, and it had a whole big thing on us, and they actually had a cut that wasn't available anywhere else. We had done it on a very small pressing, and we decided we didn't like it enough to put it out, but they had it up there on the site, a live version of one of our songs.
Right.
And it was very flattering stuff, and it was just it was interesting that we found out that it was put out by a couple that lived in Germany, and they had several websites. It wasn't just us. They had one for Vanilla Fudge, and they had one for Can You Dance There, and they had one for us.
Right.
So it was kind of flattering.
Now, another question, other than international pop-ins like that, where you bump into yourself, is it going to be possible soon, or is it already happening, where it is going to be affordable for a band, make at least 3 or 4 songs that they love, they feel are true to who they are, and make them a lost leader, just like you two. Just say, here it is, take it, and then make sure they know where they gave it or who's taking it, right, who's downloading it, and go tour right on top of these people. And then if the ticket is $90 or whatever, everybody understands how this works. Because it seems to me like that would have been a Napster era inevitability. They held back the tide. But I don't know, isn't this inevitable if the cost of making the music is going to be, not that any less hours in the studio, but that it's more democratic. You make it on your own. You don't need a label to make it. You get your own standards. What about that? Is it going to be a lost leader ever?
Well, everybody's tolerance is different where lost leaders are involved. You used to go to Cowboys years ago, and you could buy a pack of 3 tube socks for $1. So they were losing money on that because they wanted to get you in there and buy a television set. So this works the same way, I guess. If you can afford to go in and record 4 songs and just give that away, to build your fan base. If you're because a lot of musicians are basically starving, and a lot of them don't have the tolerance to go. And you figure the average song at the cheapest costs you $250 to make.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
So
I was thinking that
$1,000 investment.
That's right, $1,000, right? $1,000. And the thing is, if you are serious, no matter how old you are, even if you're a teenager, but if you're in your 20s, but you're serious now, you're going to have to produce it. I mean, it's going to be rare that you're in a cafe and you know what I mean? People are going to say, show me what you can do. And it's going to be tough if you're completely unknown. I mean, what would you say to somebody who had a song that really popped to you? Kid comes to your, whatever, guitar class, and he's got a song. What would you tell him the right thing to do is if he has a song?
Well, if they got a really good song, the best thing to do is, do a recording of it, and of course copyright it, and make sure that when you put it out, the word copyright is on your CD. A lot of groups forget to do that,
right?
And then put it out there through CD Baby or somebody like that, where you pay to get it on all the download sites.
Wouldn't you think? That's what you would tell them, right? Now, you would tell them,
What's that?
I said, I think that's exactly what you would tell them. And then you would say to them,
Yeah.
you'd say, put $1,000 together between the 4 of you or the 5 of you, whatever you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that's still an American thing. It's impossible around the world.
Yeah, I just think for younger bands, that's hard to do. $1,000 if you guys in the band aren't working or whatever. So if you live with your mom and you're all working, then you probably come up with that money fairly easily.
That's right.
But it is still the level of commitment, and are you willing to go into your pocket for it? If you feel that strongly about it, or it's something that you want to do. I mean, bands can't really go out and play and make money like we did when we were kids. The system is corrupt right now, so there's really no way for a young band to really make money unless you're going out and playing covers, and nobody's going to sign you playing covers.
Well, and what's happening in New York, I could tell you, it's degraded. Not degraded, because some kids still do well with this, is the love bucket approach. You get nothing, and you got a pail out there on the front of the stage, and the bar lets you plug in, and then whatever you get, you get. So, yeah.
Well, and that's actually more honest than what they've got going on now, because they have a thing called pay to play.
Yeah.
Where the band is told, listen, here's 50 tickets, and you have to sell these tickets, and if you sell all 50, you get to keep $2 from each ticket.
Right.
Which ends up to being like $100, which is nothing.
Right.
If you've got 4 guys and 5 guys in the band.
Sure.
So, you're better off with a door deal or with a tip bucket, because you probably make out better.
Right. The door deal.
This whole thing of having to sell tickets is just, it's designed for the venue to make money, not for you. And as long as there are bands that will do it, then it's going to continue to happen. It's not going to stop happening, because the clubs are making money with this now. That was unheard of years ago. We played, even if we played on a Tuesday night, we got paid.
Right.
Right. So we got paid something.
Got paid for playing, for performing. Exactly.
Yeah. And on top of it, then they charge the band for drinks and whatever, food. It should be an automatic. You go to play a gig. Listen, I'm not saying that, you should be allowed to drink 25 beers.
Right.
But there should be a thing. Listen, because when we would play a place in the 70s, we go backstage and there was some cold cuts and a bucket with like Peel's beer, a case of Peel's beer for the band. Something. But most of these places, they won't give you anything. They won't even, they'll give you you get 20% off your drinks because you're in the band. That's nothing.
The cabaret business there, the live entertainment business, is that's a tough deal. It just is. I mean, they're getting squeezed on both sides. Years ago, I mean, you could have, a spot. You could afford to pay the rent on a spot. Like in the Village now, it's impossible. It's crazy.
No, and then the fact that you had 18-year-old drinkers before. Now you got to be 21.
Right.
And all the liabilities and with the cars and the DWI stuff. I mean, the business is hugely different than when we were coming up. So, I feel for these bands. Well, listen, the guys that got to rock, they got to go out and rock. You know what I mean? They got to go out and do this. They don't have an option. So you find a place to play. Well, we were kids, we found Gene Ray's Pizzeria.
Right.
We worked out a deal to play the pizzeria.
Exactly.
And things. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of things.
Create your own demand. Hey, listen, this is always good. We'll do Jimmy next time. This was much more important and urgent. And really, I think right after Chiller, that'll be our big project. I'll tell the audience now a couple of times. You and I talked off the air. I like the idea of you and I creating archives for any artist that we either have a special interest in or that we've had any kind of contact with. So your relationship with Jimmy Jameson from Survivor and then his own career and you and him co-authoring a song, I think it all came together for that idea. So I want to do it right. All right, so we'll talk to you next week. More Chiller updates and what's going on with you, and then we'll catch up with him. But great segment today. Good to have your voice back on.
It's all back. It's 100% back.
Yeah, no, you sound good. You sound ready to tear it up again. Sound like
I'll destroy that Chiller. Don't worry about it.
I'm not. No fear of that here. All right, man. Always great. I'm going to talk to you soon, and have a great weekend. Okay.
All right, brother.
You got it.
Later.
Go.